Okay, cool. All right, so it is 7 o'clock. All right, we're ready to go? Yeah? Okay. Hello, this is my first board meeting, running one, so bear with me. Mike is on vacation, our esteemed president. So as vice president, I am going to be doing this. And so I want to welcome you tonight to our June 17th board meeting. And we're going to have a call to order.
Ms. Seabright.
Here.
Mr. Fisher.
Here.
Ms. Thomas.
Here.
Ms. Williams.
Here. Now we need a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance led by Andy and the flag.
Gotcha. And if I could, just for what today it is, while we take our moment of silence, I'd like to dedicate it to Deputy Mike McGuire. Deputy McGuire was a school resource officer here at BB and a fellow volunteer fireman at Allen Township. We laid him to rest today, and I want to thank him for his service.
So now I would like to have a motion to approve the agenda with any adjustments. I'll make the motion. So Kim moves to make that. And Laura second. Would you like to call the roll?
Ms. Seabright.
Yes.
Mr. Fisher.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes. And then we need to have a motion to approve board minutes from May 20th, 2021.
So moved.
Andy. A second. Laura. Call the roll.
Ms. Seabright.
Yes.
Mr. Fisher.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yeah. And the next section is visitors' comments, and I don't think we have any. Or is there anyone in the audience that has any comments? Next, we're going to move to the informative reports and communications. The first one is the elementary school principals report.
Your elementary and middle school principals will not be here tonight, so I can answer any questions about what was sent to all of you, if you have any questions.
Are there any questions? Okay, hearing no questions, we're going to move on to high school principals report. Okay, hearing no questions, we're going to move on to VBEA highlights. Anybody?
Don't see him.
Brian? Oh. Okay, so let's get that. Teaching and learning report.
Are you putting it up here? Okay, so you might, if you want, you can go sit in the front row if you would like, because they're going to project it up here so people can see it. All right, so the presentation tonight is a long time coming. We've been talking about the quest, and recently the plan on a page, and you've been involved and has been discussed since November, this goal of ours to try to get everything under one umbrella, our financial, our facilities, and our academics. And I believe through a lot of hard work, through surveys and business forums, after school work, Wednesday work with K-12 teachers, and administrators that we have something to present to the community. And Cassie has done an amazing job, as you'll see, with what we can put on the website for feedback. And this plan on a page, I wish I could take credit for it, but I've been guided and shown by a wise individual about the power of this and taking all of our documents and kind of summarizing it on one page. So as you see with our mission, which is what you're going to see and you'll see on our website, that has come from a lot of hours, a lot of meetings from our K-12 staff, also from our surveys. And you're going to see, and our mission is going to be referenced from here moving forward in just about everything we do as far as decisions are made, which are build experiences, build connections, and build thinkers. And it'll go into further detail with Cassie and some teachers that are here with us tonight. And then our achievement goal, which is to build a culture of learning that enables all students to achieve. Again, that has come from a lot of input, discussions, and again, all of this will be put out on the website live. Will it be tomorrow morning so the community can see it? I will also send out a text so the community knows it's there so they can look at it and navigate it and get information and ask any questions they have. So again, the mission, you probably will get sick of hearing me say it, although some of you are probably used to it with where this plan on a page comes from, but that is going to be our shining North Star as we make decisions moving forward in our district. So everyone will be on the same page. So with that, we'll turn it over to Kathy.
So as Mr. Bloom had mentioned, we worked a great deal on our guiding principles. And everyone in the community probably knows those better as the Traits of a Black Knight. So we had started the Traits of a Black Knight initiative back at before, I think it was 2019 even, before the new year started, and we sent out surveys to our community. And so when you look at our guiding principles, you can actually scroll down and each button will take you to a different aspect of what you see with the plan on a page. So when you click on our guiding principles, it takes you over to our website that will explain the entire process for how we got to the Traits of a Black Knight. And we are actually also revealing the work that Mr. Slaughterbeck has done with Fast Signs. And they came up with a new logo for us. So we will be doing a lot of rebranding and marketing, and you will see this all over both buildings, hopefully next school year. Our goal is to really roll this out to our students at the start of the year. We have teachers coming in August from elementary, middle school, and high school that will be working on PBIS in the elementary school, and they're kind of trying to really bleed that up into middle school and high school. This was based, be respectful, be responsible, were the two initial phrases that the elementary school are using. And then we updated be safe to be resilient to better match what our community had identified as a priority for our students. So this site has actually been up and running on the website now for quite a few months, and we just updated it with the new logo so that you guys could see that. Going back, Mr. Bloom also talked about the mission. How we built the mission was actually off of the Traits of a Black Knight. So when we looked at all of those characteristics, we started discussing, okay, how are we going to get our students to have those characteristics? And that's where we started to build that mission of, okay, we need experiences that are going to help them to build the respectful qualities, the quality of being responsible and resilient. Building connections is really that tie to building relationships, not only between students and other students, students and teachers, our community, and then also our school building. So looking for as many different ways that we can cross over. And a big piece of that as well is looking at social emotional learning and how can we support our students with that. So being resilient and our building connections really tied together there. And then the final one, build thinkers, really ties back to The main point of a school is that we're here for academics. And so building thinkers and really going beyond just that base level of learning and taking them to be critical thinkers. And again, resiliency ties into that because we want them to be able to fail forward. We don't want them to be afraid to try. And we have a bunch of skills that we really need them to be able to harness in order to be the critical problem solvers that we're looking for in our future employees. Moving on, how this document really works with the plan on the page is it's meant to flow from your mission to your district achievement goal to your building principles down to your strategic objectives. And then you'll see that the strategic objectives flow across over to how we're going to be measuring those strategic objectives. And then we have some priority initiatives that we really wanted to kind of highlight from our measures as well. So when we look at the strategic objectives in your measures, they're going to be tied together on the website. When we look at our first strategic objective, this was tied very closely with our mission of Build Thinkers, and this was to build learning opportunities that are purposeful, personalized, and cultivate the traits of a Black Knight. So one of our measurements is we're going to be having a quarterly update. This will be posted here for our parents and community and students to be able to see how we're progressing on our action steps. The action steps were actually created by our teachers. Each building had different groups that they identified their passions and really decided on what they wanted to work on. So we have a middle school and high school representative from our superintendent advisory committee. Unfortunately, elementary school teachers, there's 3 teacher representatives on our committee, and they were all unavailable this week. So I'm going to be stepping in for the elementary school to kind of share with you what they have come up with for their action steps. So you'll see the same information really over and over again, where we always have what is our achievement goal, what's our objective for building thinkers. And from a district perspective, we would like to develop a K-12 technology curriculum in order to provide a systematic approach to ensure students develop necessary technology skills. With the addition of our STEAM teacher, and then also all of the additions that we're doing in the middle school and the addition of the coding and programming in high school, we really want to make sure that everything's aligned. So I'll be working with our new teachers to make sure that we are progressing in a way and that we're not missing any important skills. In the elementary school, they want to build a comprehensive literacy program. The board, they are familiar with Wonders. And so we have really taken a look at how can we improve our instruction with Wonders. We are looking at the science of reading. We're going to be looking at the scope and sequence of each grade level with Wonders to better ensure consistency. And then what resources do we need to supplement in order to make sure that Wonders is hitting all of the high expectations that our district has for our students with literacy. This is a big goal, especially with our new director of special education. And this is to better implement MTSS. So we want to identify data necessary for intervention in IAT, analyze assessments to determine if they provide required data, come up with a plan for who will do targeted interventions, provide necessary materials and training to those doing interventions, and then look at the schedule to accommodate interventions. So there will be a lot of crossover with our administrative team. I've already talked to Mrs. Bunn, and we're very excited to start to work together to see how we can better integrate curriculum and intervention to make this a more seamless approach. Middle school.
Hi there. My name is Bailey Hafner. I teach 6th grade science. And our action steps, really a lot of them came from similar goals that we already had in the middle school. So it was very easy for us to kind of go through, and we really worked hard on just kind of aligning with the elementary and high school. So for thinkers, we didn't include much about STEM because we're adding Project Lead the Way next year, which is going to be all STEM-based classes. So we kind of focused on some other things. So we want students to work on tracking and creating line graphs. And a lot of that is going to be working with our work habits. So we in order for, or to go along with standards-based grading, our work habit score tracks students, skills as far as turning in work and being persistent and everything like that. So we want to have the students have a little more ownership of that. And then we are working with our National Juniors Honor Society members. We have some are like Ignite Leadership. So we've got groups of students that we are going to try to have work with us. And as far as some of the other ones, so we are going to work on different genres and book genres as far as with what we do with our reading education. So we did Unplugged the last couple of years, and we have a 30-minute time period where students read every day. So we're continuing to build on that. And we're going to have students kind of find more interest as far as books. And then when it comes to standards-based grading, just continuing to work on that and continue to progress with what we're doing in the middle school with those different skills and implementing all of what we do with that. So I think, is that it for the middle school on there? Okay.
I'm Chelsea Burden. I am high school government teacher and the district librarian. So for the Thinkers group, we are going to implement a daily building-wide reading time for students and staff to kind of go along with what the middle school has been doing with reading and then what the elementary plans on doing. So every day we'll have 17 minutes of independent reading to help develop reading skills, and research shows that kids who read for fun are more empathetic, and then reading and math skills are improved. So that will help us in a lot of other areas. So to get this started, we're going to have the bookmobile from the Findlay Hancock County Library come, so kids can get library cards and get books from the bookmobile. I have already scheduled a book fair with Scholastic that will start on opening night and then run through the first week of school. And then we're going to introduce the kids to the Goodreads app. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially a social media app for books. So they can, figure out what books they like, what authors they like, all that stuff. And they connect with friends and see what their friends are reading. On top of the school-wide read, we're also encouraging every teacher in the high school to implement at least one real-world or relevant application to a unit. We have a lot of kids who come in, they're like, why am I here? Why is this important to me? So we really want to show them that every class, regardless of what it is important for them to know those skills when they leave this district, when they graduate. So we're going to ask teachers to implement that in their classes, at least one unit. And a lot of our teachers are really good about doing it anyway. So we're going to gather some feedback from kids. And then we're going to develop a tool for teachers to get student feedback on how that class was meaningful to them and how it may impact their future. So that is what the high school's doing.
So then looking at our next strategic objective, it's inclusive and safe learning environment that prepares all to be empathetic and resilient. And so when we look at our action steps for this, again, while we use the term connections, we really want to think about social emotional learning, building relationships and connections between one another. So from a district perspective, we would like to establish an instructional leadership team. And you'll see that a lot of this has crossover. We're like, which area does this fit in the most, which I think is an indicator of really great goals when you see that they're actually checking the boxes for many different areas. So the instructional leadership team actually is going to help our thinkers as well, but it's bringing together all of the teachers across the district to really identify what are the best practices and what makes a highly effective teacher. We're also going to be pulling in our administrative team on that as well. With the curriculum committee, we would like to add parent representatives. We were thinking that the academic boosters and the PTO would be perfect groups to really reach out to and ask for a representative to sit in on these committee meetings. We already meet with our board committee. So just kind of expanding that and trying to reach out into the community a little bit more. And then we'd also like to add, similar idea, parent representatives to our facilities committee. For the elementary school, we've talked a lot about PBIS with our elementary. They've been doing that and they actually have won awards for that. However, this past year with COVID, we've seen across the board, a lot of schools having to take a step back with PBIS. And at the end of the school year, as things really started to kind of lift and go a little bit back to normal, they started to pick up speed with their PBIS program again. So they're really looking to reintroduce and reestablish that with Fidelity. And we talked about bringing in the traits of a Black Knight. How are we going to teach elementary school students what it means to be resilient? That's a tough word. So that is part of the group in August, what they'll be working on. And then learning and teaching the SEL standards. Our guidance counselor in the elementary school, Sherry May, has done a fantastic job so far leading this, but this is really a primary focus for them, continuing to utilize morning meetings and really make those even better. Sharing and implementing Close Gap, that's a great check-in tool that all of the students can use. And then teachers planning units together based on similar, we're doing with the Close Gap. Close Gap also has another component called Harmony, and that has lessons that are actually provided for our teachers that they'll be able to use in Harmony as well. So you're going to see kind of even a more massive expansion in the SEL standards in our elementary school.
All right, so the first goal right here is talking about working on cross-curricular connections. And this is something we already work really hard to try to do. I think with Project Lead the Way coming in, there's gonna be a lot of opportunities for us to connect math and science, but we also have been able to find really cool examples, at least, I know from my experience in the 6th grade where social studies and math or social studies and science can kind of cross over. So that's our first goal, is to just work as hard as we can to find as many of those real world projects, those cross-curricular connections, because that's what students are going to see, on the real world. The next one talks about really those traits of a Black Knight. So we're going to find out how we can implement those just in, kind of the everyday classroom activities and everyday, everything that we do. So finding opportunities to show students examples of what it means to be a Black Knight, and working with community members maybe to do this, and just finding even ways on with social media. We've done positive referrals and things like that before, so that'll be another way to kind of just get those traits of a Black Knight out there and use that language as much as possible. And then the last one, just modeling professionalism. A big thing we've been working on, especially with the English language arts teachers, is professional writing. So being professional in emails and the way you address adults, and just working on some of those skills that kids are going to need, once they get out into the job market. That was a big thing with a lot of our projects this year, was talking to employers in the community, and they really just were telling us a lot of these skills that kids need are just being persistent, showing up on time, knowing how to interact at work and talk to, superiors and things. So just finding ways to work on those professional skills is going to be really important too. So.
So our first connections item that we implemented was, we did it the last 2 weeks of school, was for staff to submit a song that was their favorite at some point in their life, and then a fun fact about themselves. So we submitted that on a Google form, and then one of our English teachers, Natalie Kincaid, put it all together and then posted on Schoology, like in between second and fourth period, this song is going to be playing. This person, their fun fact is yada, yada, yada. And then the students could then go on Schoology and guess who they thought that favorite song belonged to. And the kids really loved it. Like, it was really fun to hear them in the hallway discuss who they think it is. I was always asked questions. Is this you? Is this your fun fact? They did not guess it was me when mine played. So that was really fun. So that was what we have done already. And then we also plan to implement a buddy program with the elementary. So partnering up our 4 grade levels with 4 grade levels in the elementary. So 1st and 9th, 2nd and 10th. 3rd and 11th, and 4th and 12th. So they would get together monthly, have lunch together, read together, be pen pals, have a cookout, just something to build rapport between elementary kids, and high school kids. Then the last one is to develop a Van Buren alumni connection to get our alumni back here and to build school pride. So build quarterly or develop quarterly programs to encourage alumni to come back. Utilize what Brian Brott has been doing in his classroom with his podcast. If you don't know, I think, is it a weekly podcast, Kevin? So a weekly podcast where he reaches out to an alumni and they discuss what that alumni is doing with their career. So to build on what Brian has already been doing, great, social media, Facebook, Twitter, and invite the alumni to join it, and then create some sort of Google form to get the alumni involved, give them updates, have them let us know what they've been doing, and then develop some sort of and promote like an alumni event for each sports season to get those people back here, and then highlight what they have been doing. So like getting former homecoming king and queens back, and successful athletic teams and all that. So that's connections for the high school.
And one thing that I did want to point out, as you can see, another aspect of this document is the implementation timeline. So when we look at our strategic measures, you might not see an update on your quarterly update for that, just because it might not have been that time of the year that we started to address some of these goals. You can see some of these action steps have multiple steps to them. So it is going to be a process. So that's another piece that I just wanted to draw to your attention to as you're reviewing these documents on your own. And the strategic objective number 3 is really our last piece that our teachers really worked on. And this is the last piece of our mission statement, which is build experiences. And this is building unique opportunities that expose students and staff to diverse experiences. So from a district first perspective, we are really leaning this year heavily into our thinkers and connections. And we're looking at our buildings to really start to take those experiences. And so this is where you saw incorporating more outside STEAM opportunities. And then this is also where the goal came from for the actual STEAM program. And our goal with that is to have that teacher not only have that as a special, but really to work to incorporate that more into our elementary school classrooms. They actually started doing that a couple of years ago, but to continue to push that momentum and move it forward is where they would really like to see that progress. And then incorporate additional learning experiences outside of the classroom. So they're looking for trips, ways to connect with the community and bring a little bit more relevancy to what the students are learning in the elementary school. And then middle school.
All right, so this is the group I actually got to work most on. So we're really excited about this. We want to develop some sort of a club day for students to get introduced to all of the different clubs and opportunities they have in the middle school and in the high school too. I know a lot of the high school teachers do want to start to get students kind of involved in activities earlier on. So that kind of lines up with what they're doing. But one of the biggest, kind of to summarize that chunk right there, is we want to have all middle school students involved in some activity of some sort. And the way we're going to be able to do that really is going to be through our schedule and then through the club day that we're working on. So the next one is just kind of defining more roles where students can have in the middle school. One of the schools we visited, they had students actually give tours when visitors entered the building. They had students take people around and show them things. They had them kind of student leaders take care of some of these things that they were capable of. I mean, we've had students help out in many different ways already in the middle school, but just continuing to look for those opportunities that kind of builds experiences. We've had a lot of luck and seeing really good things from finding ways to give kids more freedom and more control over what's going on in the building. They kind of own the building a little more and own the middle school, and it's been really good. So we're going to continue to look for ways to continue that. And then finally, we are going to continue to try to build on our signature experiences. So in 6th grade, we go to Put-in-Bay each year. 7th grade, they go to Camp New Hop. 8th grade, they go to DC. So continuing to build on those experiences, those are kind of our big class experiences for each grade. And in each grade, we do find ways to make connections to those trips and kind of make it a year-long process where we connect learning throughout the year. But we want to just continue to look for ways where we can build upon those and make it so it's not just one day, so that it's a year-long trip. It's kind of a culmination of everything they learn in that grade. So we're going to continue to kind of look for those chances when we can find them. So.
And then for the high school, we were also able to implement one of these action steps this year. So we really wanted students and staff to just have a day to enjoy each other. So we held a field day on May 25th. So the first 2 hours of the day, we showed a movie in our classrooms, and then the last 3.5 hours, we had field day. So outside, we had cornhole tournaments, we had tug of war, kids could walk the track, there was kickball, water balloons, ultimate frisbee. The ag program, FFA, had their petting zoo. There was volleyball in the gym, video games, like anything you could think of, we had available to the kids. And so we just had a fun day. Kona Ice came, Mr. Daniels grilled out. And I think the kids loved it. I surveyed my classes, which are juniors, and they all loved it. And it's really hard to please 16, 17-year-olds. And their only complaint was they wanted it on a Friday and not a Tuesday. And I think all of us agreed with that because Wednesday was really rough. So we did that and it was great. So in the beginning stages of that was kind of the guinea pig year. And then we want to incorporate a service learning program. We were going to do it last year and then COVID happened. So we were not able to implement that, but essentially just get kids out to the community and show them why is it important to give back to the community. So yeah.
All right, and then to summarize everything with strategic, the objective number 4 is the communication and stakeholder engagement. There is a scorecard that'll come along with the plan on the page that I've been working with Paul on, and it's going to be good. It's easy to communicate that to everyone who's tied to the school. But as I'm looking out here, the real issue is going to be how can we communicate how we're doing to people not connected to the school. And there has been some really good conversations, some good ideas on ways to reach out and get that information out, whether it's like a one-page scorecard or, and I'm going to put you on the spot, Ed, if I forget the name of the group, the Empty Nesters group, I think we were talking about, to meet with them quarterly. Also with another individual in the community, giving back some feedback, is just going out and visiting people to start off and getting them involved, and perhaps looking at our nightly news and tweaking that to better get information out to our community. I'm not too concerned with communicating to the people tied to us, but everyone who's not tied to us on a daily basis, I'm getting very specific feedback that they really don't know what's going on. So we're going to make sure they know what's going on. So when you look at strategic objective number 5, the financial piece, well, we all know that's Don, and working with Don to also communicate like we will be doing with the community with a scorecard, a one-page document, whatever that is, to show how we're doing with our finances as well as our academics. So that's kind of where we're at with the quest plan on a page. And we're excited to get it to go live and get feedback tomorrow from our community. Is there any questions? Yes, ma'am. Good question.
So similar to what we've been doing with our Google form for the board meetings, we will have a form live in the news section. This is actually live right now on our website. It's just kind of hidden because I wanted to show the board first, but the link will be right on our front page in multiple places. You won't be able to miss it. We're also going to pump it out on social media, and the link to that form to leave comments will be right there. And it's just kind of an open-ended comment that they can place, and that will be directed directly to Mr. Bloom. So he will be able to review all of those on a spreadsheet. So.
Yes, sir. I was going to do a text to all of our, so the people that are connected to the school, just like if we were closing school, send out a text and direct them to that.
We also have, it's going to be going out in the mail to all of our registered voters. We have that information from the last levy. The community survey, if you're a parent, you probably saw that come out a couple of weeks ago in an email. That's going to be pushed out and actually mailed. So we can include, we're going to include this push too, that they can see this there. And then, I'm sorry, Andy, what was your first question? Oh, so I'm actually working with our rep for our website. We can set up Google Analytics. Right now, it's not in play though, unfortunately. So, but that is in the process. It's just a few extra steps. It's not actually tracked through this website. Not yet. I think for this initial feedback, and then once we really start to roll, it'll be good. And we actually do, looking at our data analytics from our Facebook hits, those have increased exponentially, especially with the yearbook posts that the Thursdays that, the Thursday post that Mr. Clark has been doing. So I think we're okay there, that I don't think that we need to pay for any advertising yet on Facebook.
Other questions? For coming, very much appreciated. Thank you, Ms. Cassie.
Yes.
You can probably just stay right there because
You want me to just jump in?
let's just jump in. Since we're already down here, instead of going up for a
Do you
few
have your
seconds.
computer?
Robert's got it.
Hold
He's
on.
gonna
Oh,
pull it up.
okay.
Unless you have HDMI, is it HDMI?
I do, but he can pull it up.
I'm waiting for the side. I want everything perfect. Nope, Robert gave me 15 minutes. 7?
7 minutes. He's not gonna go until the 2 screens are.
You want to go? Okay. All right. So, hello, Board of Education members. I am Justin Slarbeck, if you do not know. I am thrilled tonight to present to you the middle school and high school cafeteria transformation project. This is something that we have been working on now for at least 3 months, I would say, with a couple companies, and it is very exciting to show you this. But before we get into kind of, what I like, which is pictures instead of words, I wanted to kind of explain the why to you. So go ahead, Robert. So I like to start with the why. Why are we presenting this? Why are we committed to doing this project? It's pretty simple. We are here to provide students with a warm, inviting, collaborative space they can take pride in and be proud of while attending Van Buren. The current space, if you have been in it, many of our community members walk through that space. It is the first thing that you enter when you enter our facility for any athletic events, even music, academics, opening nights, you name it. You're basically coming in through this entrance. It is not very welcoming. It's very dark. We've done some great things with some logos, some signage, and some other paint to try to spruce it up. But at the end of the day, it's pretty dark. And then you have those lovely folding tables that we all really love sitting at, and having kids sit in a straight line at lunch and study hall and other activities. So the goal of this whole project is to transform this into the future space, which is going to hopefully be open and ready for this school year starting. And we are going to create excitement upon entering the facility. We are going to add bright colors, energizing graphics, and we will have different variations of seating between high, counter, and low tops. So I'm going to take you on a virtual tour of our current space as soon as Robert hits it. So there's great picture. You can see all the folding tables are nice aluminum chairs, brick pillars, brick walls, just a not so inviting. So if you look at this, the far entrance up there is the exact entrance that community members and anyone else coming to this facility enter. They walk right in and they are hit with brick pillars, folding tables and chairs. If you come to boys basketball games or even the wrestling events, we end up folding up the tables and creating a barrier so people can't cut through and avoid our ticket line. So imagine just that visual. So go ahead, Robert. Just another angle here. I do a great job taking pictures. So you can see the folding tables in the background there. You'll see the trophy cases as well, and we will get to those. But you've got trophy cases on that far wall, blocking the basically the view out into the parking lot where people come in and everything like that. Go ahead, Robert. Vending machines down the hallway. You just have, again, more folding tables. Wanted to put emphasis on those. And the aluminum table or the aluminum chairs. Go ahead. Okay, so now you're standing over on the east side of the entrance, and you can see, once again, folding tables, aluminum chairs. Are you picking up on a theme? Okay, continue. Yes, brick pillars. Okay, how about this? This is even better. 3 microwaves sitting on a folding table. So, you're starting to see kind of what the kids experience every day. On a serious note, this is an environment the kids are in every single day, whether it be for study hall, lunch, after school activities. They're just in this space where it's not warm and inviting. Go ahead, Robert. I've lost completely where I'm at on mine. Okay. Folding tables, aluminum chairs. Okay, good. So, and you've got some you've got your offices over there, which are obviously transforming this summer with new positions as well. Go ahead, Robert. Still, are you picking up on the folding? Okay, there's still folding tables and aluminum chairs and brick pillars here. Okay, great. Robert, go ahead. There's the trophy case again, kind of blocking that view. If you've come in through that front entrance, we've added that graphic there. So you cannot see in, but the kids can see out. So that was kind of a safety measure too. We will eventually take that all around that front building. We need to do that as part of a project anyways. That's coming down the road. Don't worry about it right now. But they can't, if they're sitting in the cafeteria, they can't really sit out and enjoy the beautiful Ohio weather. Go ahead, Robert. Okay. Now we've gotten to the real good stuff. Welcome to the Van Buren Commons. Hit it, Robert. This is what's coming, hopefully, in the fall of 2021 to start the school year. This is the Van Buren Commons. We have bright, vibrant colors. We have bright signage. We have no folding tables, except for there's only 2, but I'll get to them. You have high tops. You have booth seating. You have power at every single one of those high tops booth area that you'll see in other pictures. You have graphic tables, chairs, high tops. This creates a warm and inviting space for our kids to be in. It creates a space for our kids when they walk in the building. They are going to feel a sense of pride in our building, something that is missing, in my opinion, right now. Go ahead, Robert. You can see now we have those middle black tables there. Those are staying. Those were a great addition. So that's your high top there. And then you'll have seating all across this wall here. It will be power. So kids can plug in their phone, their computer, whatever they need, they'll plug in. USB connections, regular connections, whatever they need, they'll be able to plug in. You've got high tops that are wrapping when you walk through the main doors. Go ahead, Robert. And then you have booths that will wrap around from pillar to pillar, from this pillar to an opening, another pillar and around. You've created just an environment of kids being surrounded by each other. You have different types of chairs. You have different types of tables. You have a couple folding tables. You've got one here and one on the other side that actually have not aluminum chairs. So it is a great environment. If you've noticed, please ignore the swords. That's not happening. Where the trophy case was is going to be removed. So kids can actually have tabletop seating and look outside, and they can actually enjoy that environment that they see. Go ahead, Robert. Okay, just another picture here of what the seating is. The seating capacity, and we'll get to it, is I think it's 223 in that space. So that is a little bit more than what we currently have with the folding tables and aluminum chairs. So go ahead, Robert. We've created a counter space over here for the microwaves that are a necessity for kids, even though they like to burn popcorn. They will have a place for the microwaves. They'll have a place for trash, recyclables, and then we will adjust the vending machines will actually be on the other side, which I'll get to explaining that. The vending machines will be on the other side. As far as the painting stuff, the paint will be done. The logo, like if you see that VB there, that VB I have discussed with our art teacher, Mr. Fry, and we are going to try to involve our kids in that project to have them completed during the school year. And so that will be a project that he will do. When you get to a different area, you'll see a night head that I'll show you. And those are some of the things that we're going to try to allow our kids to do. Some of the obviously formal painting of the pillars and brick. Painting brick is a pain, but you know, it will be done professionally. That way it looks and feels the way we want to. Go ahead, Robert. Okay, and just another view of your seating. You have entrances. You have a main entrance there that cuts in between in middle of the cafeteria. You have an entrance over there as well by the east wall or the west wall. And then you're going to see an entrance over here as well on the east wall when we switch pictures there. So go ahead. Okay, and then you can just see more and more pictures and details of what it's going to look like. If you notice the banners that are on the pillars, those are some of the words that will come up, and we're going to have banners produced on those pillars. Some of the words that were in our word search, if you will, for when we were trying to define traits. And so those will be actually on the outside. They will not be on the inside, because we will have TVs and monitors mounted on every single pillar, so kids can watch stock market news, ESPN, whatever they choose. They will have the ability to watch stuff in there. We also may eventually, depending on some things, may have some hookup for some either a laptop presentation, which we have the projector in there, or even games if they choose of that sort. Go ahead, Robert. Okay, just more decal tables. You've got a couple folding tables there, but this is the center location. You can see in the top left corner, you kind of got like a half circle table. You've also got some other circle chairs in case kids want to choose a different type of seating as well. Go ahead. This is more of a look graphically at the windows and the paint job. We're going to work with Fast Signs again here in Findlay, who has done a great job with us this year on the signage. And so we'll work with them on the signage. They can do raised lettering, whatever we want done. They do a great job. If you see the nighthead, that's the elevator wall. That's another one where I talked with Mr. Fry, and he feels confident that him and his kids can do the nighthead. And that will be something that we do during the school year. So it'll give them something to work on. And then that will be established in the building that they can see as they walk the halls. Again, the swords are not going to happen. That is going to be one of those like privacy films that we'll put up again. So where no one can really see in. We don't really want people seeing in, but we want our kids to be able to see out. Go ahead. And then just again, a couple more of the walls. The wall that you see there is on the cafeteria wall. In meeting with Bo, who cooks phenomenal food. You know, we got his input on some of this stuff, and he was just thrilled that we were even considering this and doing this. And he thinks that this is going to help. Obviously, people want to now buy food. They want to be in that space. So there is a little perk there as well. Go ahead. I think the next one, yes. The next one is just a diagram of exactly what it's going to look like. So you are going to have high top tables here on the bottom in the elevators. You're going to be able to sit across. You're going to be able to sit across on the bottom. You've got your nice little square area where you can sit either booth or high top. You've got high tops up here. You've got tables. You've got high tops there. And then we threw in kind of the 2-seater tabletops because a lot of people after any events or something like that, they usually will stand right there and either wait for their kids. So you might as well give them something to wait on rather than just completely making that space clear. So lots of stuff, and you can see power. There's going to be power everywhere to this in order for kids to hook up and charge stuff, whether it be in study hall, cafeteria, whatever we use at after school. That seems to be the place that kids hang out after school as well. So we give them the space, and that we hope that they will take pride in and take care of as well. Go ahead. And then lastly, obviously people may look at this project and go, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing this for? Well, it's pretty simple. We invest in things like the future, like our children, like education. In other words, we invest in things that we understand we will not see an immediate return of investment on, but everybody knows it will have a positive impact and you can easily measure it over the course of time. Your why is exactly the same. Our why for this is to provide students with a warm, inviting, collaborative space they can take pride in and be proud of while attending Van Buren. If you ask any kids, and we presented this to the student council a couple of weeks ago, and they were blown away. And even the seniors that were in there were like, why are you doing this now? Like, please. And I said, you can come back and enjoy the space anytime you want. It's just the sense of pride of finally doing something for kids is very exciting for me, if you can't tell. And involving the kids in this process has been great because they looked at it and they said, wow, like that can be our cafeteria, that can be our commons. And it's just something that really stuck with the kids, with us. When we saw the reactions, you were there as well. They were blown away by it. And so changing that culture, just the more positivity that we can pump through this building with our kids. And when they're walking through a 100-year-old building, the better we're off doing. And so we truly believe after COVID, and it just hit everything and kind of basically ruined a lot of kids and families because it just hit so hard. Why not welcome them back next year? Brand new commons. We've done the upgrades in the auditorium. We're continuing to move forward in our facilities and do great, amazing things for our kids. So this is the Van Buren Commons. Any questions? What was my time? Yes. Yep. No, we will be good. And actually the way the lines work for serving works perfectly fine. You can go up and down, you can go up and down, or you can go up and around. Honestly, it helps probably with a lot of the stuff that we do because we don't have to block stuff anymore. It's kind of a natural barrier now. And especially when it comes to, like, for me personally, for like event managing, if you can control the flow of people coming in and coming out, it makes my job 10 times easier than just mingling. And now there are direct lines. That's why we used to set up things. So it doesn't quite affect anything that we have experienced before in that space. Typically we hold our staff meetings in there sometimes, like the all staff meetings. And so we're all sitting at those tables across, and you can't really, there's not like really a good seat for anything to present. Now you've got a centrally located presentation area with the drop down projector that's been installed a couple years ago too. So to answer that question, no, it's not gonna affect or deter anything that we've done in the past there before. Yep. Great point. So the best part about a lot of this stuff, the tables, the chairs, the booths, everything that we do, obviously, except for the paint, is movable. So if for some reason we do end up getting a new school, new cafeteria, new commons, all of this stuff can come with us. So that was kind of the idea behind everything. Because the company said, well, we'll just drill into the ground and we'll anchor it. No, we're not doing any of that. They're going to come in, they're going to put it, it's temporary. And then if we ever move that or want to move that stuff, it can be moved, which is great. That was kind of the real piece behind this, because eventually, fingers crossed, you'll end up having a new school eventually. And kids will eat in a more relevant cafeteria. And so now they'll be able to be provided this option right now. And we can move that stuff anywhere we want. And if we needed to move tables out for whatever reason, we can move tables out. sometimes cheerleaders would use the cafeteria for practice. We can still do that. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Robert. Go back up.
Okay, so we're back. I personally want to thank everyone that did the presentation, both of them. I think you guys have worked extremely hard and you're extremely dedicated and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, technology report. Okay. While we're waiting for Robert, there is a card from Mrs. Dana Patterson, and she thanks everybody for honoring her retirement from the Van Buren schools after 33 years. So I'm gonna pass it around if you guys want to look at it. Superintendent report.
Well, first of all, thank you, Melinda, for saying that, but I do want to thank Justin. Worked really hard. I appreciate all the feedback. It's been nice to see your heart grow during this process, just like the Grinch. It's been fantastic. I appreciate that. It's if you can't tell, he does not like folding tables. Or Lou can't stand them. But no, seriously, he's done a lot of work, really thought it through, involving a lot of people. So I'd like to thank you for that. And also Cassie, as always, thanks for all your hard work with the quest and help leading us with everything. It's been fantastic. I appreciate you breaking up the fights that happen, the arguments that happen, and all these discussions in a positive way. And then my final thing really is I want to just recognize that we're adding to our wonderful Van Buren family as far as someone very talented, and that would be down there. You've met Miss Jennifer Barrett, who's coming to us from Cary exempted local schools. She was the director of student learning for them, and within that, she was she was the special education coordinator. She was also the curriculum director. She was also the RESA program coordinator for beginning teachers, and she supervised RTI, which is response to intervention. So that's a mouthful. And I'm very thankful that you want to come join us here at Van Buren, especially as we're embarking on our own special education project here. So having you part of the team full time. So thank you very much for considering us and accepting coming here. Your talents are very welcome and I look forward to working with you. Awesome. Well, welcome. And then that concludes my superintendent.
Questions? So we're moving on to Superintendent Standing Committee reports, personnel. Kim? Audit and finance? And then we'll be ready to review the bid. Transportation and facilities. Andy?
Yeah, so we met on June 4th, as Robert indicated. Auditorium looks great. Wi-Fi project is completed. We talked about updating the control systems for the doors, reviewed the project tracker spreadsheet. It's kept it up to date and showing us where and when we can spend the money. I want to thank Jake for stepping in for John. Really appreciate that. New carpet in the elementary. If you haven't been around here, the roof is, I'm not sure if I think it may be completed. I see them not up there anymore. So, but I think they were there today. The floor drains in the high school locker rooms has been completed. There's going to be some moving of some rooms around. So that's awesome. Commons projects, very excited for that. Yeah, it's going to be awesome for the kiddos. And I believe another project. Thank you to the Swaysgood family for looking at the projects down on the soccer field, especially with the concession stand and that kind of stuff. That's going to be an awesome project. Looking forward to that. And it looks like we're going to have a discussion on the soccer lights.
Okay, thank you. Athletics and extracurricular, if we need to meet, we will meet. Sound good? Okay. District and school policies. Student achievement liaison, that is me. Not much going on there. I get emails and I send those out to all the that's what I do. Curriculum. So I want to read something related to Jay Clark. So special thanks to middle school principal and assistant superintendent Jay Clark from the Van Buren Board of Education and Administration for his many years of service and support to the Van Buren local school district. He will be greatly missed by students, staff, and any old business that needs to be discussed? No? Okay, so moving on to new business, and I'd like to have a motion to do the treasurer's report financial item. Okay, so first, second. Dawn?
So I have a few items tonight for you just to talk about. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the numbers tonight because next month you're just going to be inundated with numbers because we'll be at the end of we're kind of pushing our way to the end of June, and we'll be ready to talk about those at the next meeting for sure. I did have a little blurb in my finance report about the facilities update, but Mr. Fisher covered everything beautifully. I'm not going to tread on any of that. That's absolutely right. We are moving forward. So I'm so excited to see all of this progress. And I'm so happy about the smell in the gym. Uh, For your approval tonight, I have a proposal for our property casualty liability and fleet insurance. I did not go out to bid this time, but this is a renewal from our carrier from last year. What makes this quote a little bit different is that we actually are incorporating the appraisal that was completed this year. And that uncovered that we were undervalued by about $6 million on the facility side. So this quote actually writes the coverage for the buildings in particular. And so there is a slight increase, excuse me, to cover that difference of about $3,000 from last year's price to this year's price. So I was glad that we went ahead and did that appraisal. There is a quote tonight also for the gap conversion and the Medicare compilation services. We still have one more year of Medicare audits that are due. This is a switch from our current provider. And the savings for opting a 3-year contract helps us over time. And this also discounts our Medicaid audit that comes through. So, but they actually convert all of our books from cash to accrual accounting. I want to bring to your attention, you don't really have to vote on this, but I have it as a voting item tonight. And it's just recognition of the Van Buren scholarships for our 2021 graduates. Absolutely thrilled that those scholarships totaled more than $1.8 million this year. And I thought that was absolutely fabulous. So I wanted to say it again in front of you this evening in the public meeting. I wanted to talk real quick too about the 2 additional rounds of ESSER money that's coming from the feds. One's ESSER 2 and the other is ESSER. They were calling it 3, but now they're calling it ARP. That's one acronym that I don't know what it means yet, but I'll get back to you on that. So we actually our initial plans with that money was to address some of the facilities issues for air quality and some of the other things coming back and having everybody in the building full time and addressing HVAC issues and some of the other things that we had that were kind of looming in our facilities. One of the requirements for the ESSER money is to be able to do a project, and we'd have to use prevailing wage. It's very uncommon when you're outside of a large urban setting to be forced to use prevailing wage. So in our part of the world, it would most likely almost double the cost of the project. So I think we're going to shift our focus to offset instructional costs and to write the entire project as addressing the potential learning loss that we actually are facing due to the pandemic and not being in school full time. So, excuse me, once that plan is actually put together, we're actually going to have that out on the website, and we'll be able to bring in public comment once we have that all put together. The next item is to, we actually transferred money for the food service program this year. I want to make that transfer permanent. We were addressing the loss of food service revenues last year, so there was not enough startup money for the food service program. But the food service program this year is going to end the year in the black. So that's the first time that that's happened in many years. So I was thrilled to be able to tell you that. We talked about the insurance. Number 4 is to approve the no ask. That's our A site. That's where our state software is run through. We actually use them for all of our accounting services, our email, and bandwidth and everything that we do that's wireless. So it's not actually their contract. This is a multi-year contract, but you'll see the estimates as to what those services will cost for this next year. And we talked about the gap and Medicaid audit compilation. And there is a number of donations for this month totaling just over $2,800. And we talked about the scholarships. And that's all I have in my section tonight.
So the motion on the table is to approve treasurer's report item 1 through 7.
Is he right? Yes. Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Williams?
Yes. So next is executive sessions.
Yes. Let me call the roll and then we can go.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Is he right?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
That's okay.
That is, the- yes, yep, that is the new revised quote for the 4 pipes versus 2.
Like to call the for approval of items 1 through 12.
Ms. Seabright,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes. Next, we have for the board's consideration, need to be,
No, I think we just wanted to ask about interest. If they have OSBA in person, um, we'll have to register probably soon if they're going to have it. Usually, they haven't sent anything yet. So it's still up in the air. Usually there's hotel reservations that come through in August. So I guess I just wanted you to kind of think about it. Think whether or not you would want, it's in November. The first week, second week of November. Mhm. And so it's training in Columbus and state conference for boards.
well, I think that might be in flux. since we have for November.
That's true.
Yeah, so we might have to reconsider that depending on
Yes. If you're all
the
here,
constitution.
would you
of the
like to
board.
go?
I would like to go if I'm still here.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay. I just was kind of,
Not a
I just
given,
wanted to put a feeler out there. If
Yeah.
it's in person, if you would feel comfortable, if you wanted me to
You
pursue
can
it.
make a
Where,
commitment.
where's it at?
It's
Columbus,
Columbus.
okay.
It's at the-
Okay.
They usually have some good. Okay. So number 2, we're having a special meeting for final financial reporting on June 28th, 2021, and I believe it's going to be through.
Yes, it's Zoom
Okay.
meeting.
And that is also, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to vote for. Are we doing anything else?
We're doing the county auditor reporting. So we'll have the final appropriations and final certificates of estimated resources for this year. And then we'll have temporary for both of those items as well, so that we can open up 2022. So that's the big thing. We're kind of pushing to get to the end. I want to make sure that they're as accurate as possible. I hate to do too many estimates when it comes to the close of the year, so I try to wait till as close to the end of the month as I can.
Next is soccer lights discussion. Justin, you want to say anything about, we talked about July, maybe match. Okay.
Justin. Got a lot of them.
Yeah, we'll talk about.
That's not. Just gonna be.
It's just a bonus meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so we can do this after.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just have- Okay, any other discussions for the board's consideration?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Do we have any other business to come before the board? Section D on the
Yeah.
agenda. That's a no. Okay, there's nothing. Okay, so Kim has made a motion to adjourn and Andy seconds it. And we are out at 8:53. Let's go.
Miss Ebright,
We're, oh,
yes.
sorry.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Miss Thomas,
Yes.
Miss Williams. We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you guys for all your
Thank you.
support. I